If I could go back in time, I would slap this younger version of myself. So we were living in Australia. I'm standing in this line and so many things are rushing through my head. Basically, we're living in the time FIFA 13 just came out. I was addicted to playing Ultimate Team. I was finding every hack. There was foothead, so you could build the squad and try and get chemistry and everything. I spent hours on that. I spent hours doing research to find budget teams, budget plays that had 5-star skill. So I'm standing in this line, and the whole previous night I spent hours playing this game. I was so hooked into it that the previous day I finished school, I went and I started playing. I didn't even think about what I needed to do. I didn't even think about the next day. And now I'm in this line. Played so many games the whole night before it would fried my mind. I don't even know what to expect from this line, right? So it's maths class, we're just going in, but it's taking longer than usual. It's something is going up and I'm like, oh, what was I supposed to do? Because everyone is presenting something to the teacher. And then it clicks in my head that we had this project that we needed to complete. We had to show it, and that was our entrance. Otherwise, we would have all received this big detention. And the day in which you would have received the detention was a day that I couldn't skip because I had stuff with my family that I needed to do immediately after. So I was slowly piecing this together in my mind as everyone's going in. And I was feeling the anxiety of all the things. Oh, you should have done this. You should have just done the work. It wasn't even that hard. Some guys were forging it in the line. They were just forging a piece of paper to say either excuses for the homework or actually just putting rubbish answers to show this guy. And then I was looking for any solution. I was like, I'm not gonna put together some piece of garbage because I hold myself to a higher, it's funny to say that I hold myself to a higher level, but I just didn't do the work anyways. So I turned to my right and now I am sweating. My hands are sweating because I'm looking for some kind of solution. I turn to my right and I see there's a little window and it's a little bit open, what's the word? Ajar. And I slowly just try and lift it a bit and I see, oh, okay, I got some time. I see how many people in front of me and I think there's at least 12 at this stage and he's going one by one and it's an all-boys school. So I don't know what that has to do with the time, but it's taking a lot more time. So I figure out, okay, if I get this open, I can do it quickly. So I slide it open and I have a look through and I'm like, okay, there's definitely space. There's no kid in front. Any kid who's gone through already is not in front of me. Everyone's still finding their way through. So naturally I turn and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be in line with this kid in front of me and get one leg in and that's all I need. So I lean forward and this was the first mistake. I lean forward and I get my one leg through. And instead of placing it down and finding firm ground with it, I duck and I'm leaning forward. And then my heart starts beating faster and faster and faster in that micro moment. And I'm like, okay, just go. I didn't even have the patience to deal with this. I'd put off all the work the night before. I'd put off even trying to come up with a smart solution to get away from this. Now I'm in this, I'm bought into the lie. I'm bought into trying to just find a way around this whole situation. And basically I duck. And because I'm leaning forward with no proper grounding, I slowly start sliding forward in a very downward position. My left foot, and I don't know if it's the aglet or if it's the shoe that got caught in the frame or what happened, but to be fair, my whole body was pumping with adrenaline for math homework. I mean, honestly, just go and smack this child. Just go and do the work that you're supposed to do. And my foot my foot catches on this thing, right? And in school, in our school at the time, we had, what's the word? We had desks, and on top of every desk, there were chairs. So when you finish the day, it's not usually the chairs just go on top of the desk at the end of the day. So my foot gets caught, and I get pushed off balance. So I slide a little bit more like to the left, and I knock the set of chairs, and the set of chairs fall down, and a desk at the end falls down, because they did like, one of the desks had like a desk on top of it. And yeah, so the chairs fall, the desk falls, loud bang, everyone turns around to me, and I've like bailed, and I'm like landed like on my face, I've fully fallen down. And the teacher walks around, and he's like, all right, mate, you come with me. And it's a terrible accent as well. But yeah, we were in Australia, Sydney, and yeah, we were there for a year. So this guy took me out, and he was like, what the hell are you doing? And I was just beside myself. I was just freaking out. Like I said, I'm an immigrant in this situation. We're foreigners, and we've only been there a couple of months. So I didn't want to deal with this. I didn't want to, do something stupid, break a rule, a law, or whatever, and then, all these things are going through my mind. I'm worried about the visa. I'm worried about so many things going on. And this guy's like, what is going on? You could have just taken the detention, or you could have just spoken to him if there was like some deep issue, Going back to it, I would have just spoken and found a way to talk my way out of it. But yeah, so I was sitting there, I was like freaking out. I was like angry and sad, where you just sit and you don't say anything, but like there's a whole war going on in your brain. So yeah, in terms of procrastination, always just do your work, like really. But the other thing I want to speak about is the change. Like, I was that person. I was addicted to video games. I was addicted to social media, and it pulled me into so many different stupid situations that I didn't need to be in. And honestly, like, everyone will just say, you're being too hard on yourself. You need to enjoy yourself. It's actually heartbreaking to think about how much damage that did to me. And it's not even about did to me, it does to people, and it's annoying. Video games should not be pushed the way it is. People who say, oh, just a little bit every now and then, like, maybe it's harsh to say, but no, not in your developmental years, not until you're like 21, where your brain is fully formed. Because these people use addictive mechanics to keep you playing, to make you feel as if you're progressing. The feeling where you get when you're progressing, like in gym, if you push a new weight, in real life, when you learn to score a goal in a sport, like when you get better, there's a natural reward system in your body. Now, if that's being activated in a video game, like, understand how that's creating a disillusionment with reality, I'm getting off topic, but fuck video games, honestly. Understand that there's a lot of things going on at play, and if you procrastinate like I did, you're gonna push something onto a future you. He's gonna have like the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's gonna have that and the next task that you didn't do back then because you were a coward. So there's 3 things to just overcome this. Do it immediately. Don't let this idea live in your head, right? Don't let it have space and essentially occupy your mind and make your life worse off for it. Number 2 is clean plates get dessert, right? So the idea is you wanna clean your plate of all the tasks. You want a clean plate before the dessert. if you think video games is the dessert, then like by all means go do that. But at least, actually, don't do that. But if you're going to engage in some kind of like reward behavior, do it after finishing all your tasks. Finish your whole plate of tasks, get it off, and then take on the tasks. Take on the dessert. And then number 3 is trial by fire. Understand that like if you're trying to make active change, the active change comes from some kind of like unbalance, right? If you want to make a change, you're viewing this as good and what you currently are as bad, right? And that's going to create resistance. It's going to create resistance when you flow in between, either to the right or to the left, to what you want to what you don't want. And what you need to understand is you need to bring down the emphasis on it, because if you create too much like mental thought towards how important it is, if you create too much importance on the positive or the negative, or the positive or the negative, it's going to make it a lot harder. You're going to be met with resistance. So you can either remove the importance, you can do the work. Doing the work actually just gets it off your plate, gets it out of your mind immediately. So that's the number 1 solution. And number 2 is just to start associating and understanding that you're going to be in pain in between A and B. And while you're in between A and B, you can just focus on actually like getting the work done, and that will get the journey quicker. Because if you allow yourself to go between A and B or back to A, it's just going to take longer and it's going to be more painful to endure. So if you can make peace with it, understand that you're going to be met with resistance like procrastination, you're going to be met with resistance like arrogance. All of these things will be ways in which it pulls you back to the old self. You need to let the old self die, right? And yeah, if you want a lasting change, you really need to just find a way to overcome the resistance. Don't deny that it's there. Point it out. Say, I'm resisting this task because, you know, at the beginning I was inspired by it, but now I'm feeling like I'm not going to get it perfect, so there's no point. Then the other one could be that this task is too hard. I don't even want to attempt it. I don't know what I'm doing in it. So if you can view those like 2 scenarios, those are 2 very good scenarios where if you can just do the work anyways, understand that, say, okay, this is resistance right now. Let me just do the work. It will help you get through it quicker. You'll go through the transformation of who you are to who you want to be much, much easier. And then don't underestimate the influence you have on everyone around you. Like, just by making that change, everyone else will be feeling some kind of inspiration from it, and who knows who you make change. And as you get older, you'll understand that the butterfly effect of you picking up some kind of change in your life and how that can alone affect several lives around you is so beautiful. So yeah, definitely cultivate that change, and who knows who you may help along the way.